Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The race will be starting in just a few minutes. Just to introduce myself, I'm Phil, and on co-commentating I've got James Davis.
Good evening, everyone. Looking forward to this.
Exciting night of racing. So how the format is going to go, it's 15 minutes of practice, 45-minute qualifying, and then a 30-lap race. No tyre wear, no fuel. So it's pretty much get out there and just concentrate on your driving. So it's going to be almost a slight endurance event, but our normal length races really, but without fuel or tyre wear. It is literally just concentrate on the guys in front and the guys behind. I mean, looking at the names there on the list, James, anyone that's standing out for you?
Pro Fubby, he's normally very quick. We've also got Amiga, we know is rapid, and Scooby as well. I think he's looked good in sort of early practice, putting in a dead-on 2-minute lap time, so that sort of sent a few shockwaves through the community, so we'll see how it pans out. Different type of pressure in qualifying though, so we'll see if the guys can keep cool and put a good lap time in.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of names that stand for me. So there's NGR Fraser, NGR Pro Fubby, as you mentioned. We can see there NGR Amiga currently on the A license there as well. He's obviously been hammering the online as well. So a couple of names, Cam 123 Diz, not one to rule out. But I mean, all these guys are exceptional racers. Pidgey69 as well. It's nice to see him in the room tonight. Eggy Davis making a return there as well. He's not one to shy away from a good battle. So, going to be an interesting race. It's hard to call. I'm going to put my money on... I'm going to go for NXTGEN. So, that's Lee Horn. Speak to Lee. Right. He's a very big fan of the British touring cars. So, I speak to Lee. He's a top guy outside of the racing, of the sim racing circuit as well. So, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with NXTGEN tonight there.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Pro Fubby for me, but I think it's going to be really close. It's one of them where the concentration, you've got to be consistent for the 30 laps, and as you say, without any fuel or tyre wear to worry about. It is just a case of getting that consistency, and the person who's the most consistent with their lap times will probably end up coming out on top.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So the evening is about to get underway. We've got 2 hours of GT3 action. We're going to try and catch as much of it as we can for you. I'm here all evening, followed with James as well. And a very exciting Brno circuit in clear weather. So we haven't got to deal with any puddles or anything like that this evening. But again, it is guaranteed to be an evening of awesome GT3 action from Next Gen Racing Leagues.
Yeah, speaking of puddles, as you mentioned there, I mean, it's something that was discussed. I was listening to Ian Bell in one of his Q&A sessions, and he said it was probably would take about 3 to 6 months for them to actually sort of design and program puddles if it was done manually, but they decided to get the best coders in, and it's almost like this coding algorithms where they take sort of the layout of the track, the contours, and sort of then they sort of feed it in the physics where the puddles would actually, collate and format, and they did it that way, and I think it's worked extremely well, as we found out to our cost when we did some testing at Knock Hill a few nights ago. So yeah, something that the drivers don't have to worry about tonight, but definitely a feature of the game that I really think improves it a great deal.
Certainly. So cars are going out, so they've got a 15-minute practice on now, so just get a feel for the car, get a feel for the track, and really go out there. Obviously, eyes are on the prize tonight. It is trying to get those times for the, you're not going to get a pole or anything from this now, but you get the nice Aston Martin there, the red and the black. Lovely little livery there on EDU's car. Oh, we've had a spin there. Someone not letting the tyres get to heat. There's NXTGEN in that stunning yellow and blue M6. That looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, the M6, one of the new GT3 cars to feature on Project Cars 2. I have had some experience with it on some PC sims, such as R-Factor and Assetto. And yeah, it reminds me very much in a way that the Bentley felt on the first Project Cars.
Yeah,
but
certainly
a
so.
very, very good car in the right hands.
So Ginge choosing to go back to the pits there, on with the Les now. Hopefully he'll get his tyres warmed up before he pushes it a little bit too hard. And tonight's action obviously brought to you in association with Thrustmaster, Gabo Racing Seats and Talent Drinks. And of course hosted by us here at NXTGEN Racing. He seems to be struggling, just taking his time. He needs to calm down a little bit, not push too hard while his tyres are cold. Just ease it off the grass. Get going. It's a nice wide track, so plenty of room to swing the car out there.
But definitely, you can see that they're very twitchy with those cold tyres, the first few corners. I mean, it normally takes a lap and a half before the optimum, and the brakes as well, let's not forget. So we can see that the drivers with a little bit of experience will take it easy for that first sort of part of the outlap. Wait till there's a bit of heat in the tyres, and then they can start pushing for the hot laps.
Yeah, we should say, I mean, 50, you're looking at about a 1:40, maybe around 2 minutes for here, so you should see quite a good few laps coming out in this practice session. And then obviously it's on to 45 minutes of qualifying, so this is a nice way to get used to the car, learn where you can push it, you know, after you've got the, you know, those heat in the tyres, learn where you can push it, learn where to back off.
Yeah.
And traffic shouldn't be too bad. No pressure
in this sort of warm-up practice little session that we've got, the 15 minutes. And as I say, just for those who may not be familiar with the track or the car, it just gives them that opportunity to sort of get to the optimum before qualifying, so they can then push and hopefully, I mean, we may see that the field is split for qualifying by, what, second and a half, so it's going to be very interesting to see the times that people post.
Yeah, certainly. It is definitely going to be, you know, I can't see it being separated by too much. Maybe you'll see two, three groups of people, so you might have a few that are split by under a second, and then it will sort of might increase where you've got another bunch of people in the middle and then sort of bunch of people towards the bottom. But who knows, these are all experienced NGR drivers, so it's going to be an interesting night of GT3. And the thing that is good about Brno as well is just the size of the track, the sheer width of it. So, you know, you can get 3-4 cars wide in some of these parts of the track, so it's going to be at a first lap is going to be quite a spectacle.
Yeah, we might see a bit of paint traded on the first lap, and well, hopefully we won't see too much in terms of incidents. And you say with the wideness of the track, it should hopefully lend to close racing, but obviously hopefully not racing that leads to too many offs.
No, these guys know what they're doing. You know, the stewards are out in full force as well, so any problems, that, you know, they'll be taken to the bus, and they'll definitely have a swift word said to them as well after the race. But they all know what the score is. They respect each other. And the best thing now about Project Cars 2 with the physics and the collision model slightly improved as well, you can now have those side-by-side paint trading incidents, whereas before cars would stick together, you'd both end up in the grass. We've had a few races ourselves, haven't we, James, in, you know, like the smaller cars, paint rubbing and everything. It happens now, and it just adds that realism to it. So we've got a lap in as well here. We've got a 2:04 at the moment, so that's our first time. So here's Scott McFall just coming up to pass the line as well. Just got one corner left.
Yeah, we'll just stick with him for the moment as we see. But yeah, definitely, as you mentioned there, with the sort of physics model from the original Project Cars, it was one of them things where there was occasions where you'd think you made contact with another car on track while you're racing, but then look back at the replay and there wasn't any contact. So, but there was times where, as you say, there was this sort of almost like magnetism that sort of, you know, you'd go within a few inches, centimeters of the car next to you, and you'd both sort of be, you know, dragged off track in the same direction, which wasn't anyone's fault. It was just obviously, you know, an apparent flaw within
they've admitted there as well. So we've got Pro Fubby, looks like he's just taken pole position there with a 2:03.
Have a look.
There's Pro Fubby in the awesome 488 Ferrari GT3 car. There's a little bit of traffic in front of him there, that Renault RS01. So not much separating.
Both of them are.
I mean, that is obviously the first lap. Once the tyres get warm, you'll see those times coming down as well as the rest. I reckon we'll see around the 2-minute mark, maybe break into the 1:59s, but I'm going to say 2 minute. If you score around the 2-minute mark, you're pretty much probably, you've certified your your first place there as well. So still waiting for times to come through. Profubby still leading the way at the moment. I don't know who it is in second. Hopefully we'll get a shot of them at the moment just to see who is out in second place at the moment in this practice session. And we've got just under 10 minutes. So it's NGR Fraser there as well. So Fraser currently running second. We can see tyres across the grass there as well. So someone having a slight off moment on the corner there. Tyres bouncing across the grass there. Nice little tyre models they've got, not just on the cars as well.
Yeah, so that was a 2:02.1 for Fraser there. We know he's a quick driver.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meeting him down at an event. It's Simply Racing Milton Keynes.
Oh, someone else has just
showed his class. Who was that?
So that's Fraser, who's still in first place. So someone has just pipped second as well. So that's Tilbs 11. Tilbs actually one of our pad users tonight as well. So showcasing the ease of using a pad on the new project cars. So, you know, massive respect to SMS and what they've done with the game. Oh, saying that, there's the commentator Jigs, and slight contact there from the Honda into him there.
Profubby, as I think he is now on another hot lap just started. Well, yeah,
he's closed the gap there as well.
Experience.
Just the number plates width between him now, between him and this provisional first place. So a few people putting times in, a few people probably just taking it easy. As we said, just getting used to the car, getting used to the track. I mean, they've got nothing to prove in this session at the moment. It's just under
just under
7 minutes to go.
Quite a difference in sort of its elevations. It's very up and down. And the highest point to the lowest point, and then I believe you got the sort of final sector as you go up the hill.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, there's a good choice of different GT3 cars used tonight. Ferrari seems to be a stable favourite of cars to go to. Obviously, it's quite an easy car to drive. It's got nice power and everything, so it is one of those cars that people shy towards just as the game comes out, and then they'll get used to it. They'll move on to the slightly harder to drive cars as well. So yeah, unfortunately we're not seeing any McLarens in the lobby tonight. That is one car that I think you need to have a little bit of work on. I think it's the bravest of drivers that will take on the McLaren GT3 at this moment in time.
Yeah. No disrespect to the McLaren, I did try it out. It was very twitchy in the default setup. So yeah,
so
as you mentioned,
Profubby's moved. Sorry to interrupt there. Profubby's actually moved down to third place. So got a couple of people just above him now as well. So it'll be interesting to see who has now taken first. They're currently in the pits at the moment. Profubby is approaching.
Just coming into the final corner now.
See if he can improve on his time. Quite a lot of traffic up ahead as well.
There you go, he does.
So he moves
8 tenths faster.
Up into second place. Says it's still
got
Fraser.
Posted on a lap time. I believe it is still Fraser at the top. No, it's
Scooby. Also chosen the Ferrari tonight as well. So Fraser
probably, but
so Fraser
cooling off
down to the third. So lap times, you can see there is a slight difference in the lap times at the moment. As we were saying, there's probably going to be a group at the top, a group in the middle, and be a few sort of grouped together in same times towards the bottom there as well.
Yep. But definitely the Ferrari would be my car of choice if I was on the track tonight instead of commentating. I'm sure I'll get to like other cars. The M6 definitely. Also the Lamborghini is very nice, but I definitely got a liking and a shining for the Ferrari, and the GTE version also is epic.
I mean, each car definitely has its own personality. Each car feels slightly different as well. It's not just they've seemed to have taken one car in the game and just put a body on it and had the same sort of handling model. Cars do feel different, do drive differently as well. So you do have to, you know, learn the cars and find which one does. In fact, we do have a McLaren out there as well. That's Eggy Davis. He's currently running in 8th place.
We know he's a bit of a nutter, so he had to be the one to drive this. Fair play to him.
That's a stunning looking car, though. Stunning looking. And back end just goes. He managed to keep it going in a straight line.
Held it well.
And there goes the R8 past him there as well. Again, compared to the R8 in Project Cars 1, such a step up, such an improvement. That is one of my favourite GT3 cars in the game. I can't get enough of it. The M6 and the Audi R8, I absolutely love those cars.
We can see just already how twitchy the McLaren is at times, but he's 5 seconds up. I mean, okay, his fastest is 2:19, so he's still not anywhere near the fastest time at the moment. But again, if he's getting used to the car, it could take a few laps. But yeah, the R8, I mean, we have our resident, one of our resident pro drivers, Jake Dennis, who drives that in the real world.
Yeah, in the Blackpan GT3 series. So Jake, if you are watching, we look forward to seeing you in your next race. But Jake, yeah, gives us his honest opinion on the cars, gives us tips, setup tips and stuff as well. So if you are watching the channel and you do want to race against pro drivers, join NXTGEN. You can get to go out on the track with them as well. So awesome group to be in with, and tonight is just going to showcase just some of our driving talent for you. This is just a very, very small selection of drivers that we had. Unfortunately, we can't get everyone on the track because the lobby limit is 16 players, but we've got multiple lobbies running when we do have league races running. So come over and join in, get involved in the fun. So here we see,
as we say, we do also have different type of leagues running in terms of just GT3, our Wednesday night sort of resident league, and that's our big one. But you've got your Clio Cups, you've got your open wheel, you've got your, well, we had DTM. Have we got DTM on Project Cars too, or they've been taken out?
Unfortunately, yeah, there's no modern day DTM car. There's a couple of the Group A, sort of the classic DTM, but unfortunately it hasn't appeared in the new game. But we've got awesome leagues coming up, replacing them. So yeah, plenty of action going on. So we still see Eggy Davis here. He's dropped down to 11.
There isn't a class that you sort of like to run. Once you've joined NXTGEN, if you want to host a league, you're more than welcome to contact the admins and set it up, as long as it doesn't clash with any of the leagues that are already running that night. But we do sometimes have more than one sort of class running at the night, because there's so many people who sort of get involved racing that the lobbies are full, and you get some great action in whatever sort of car class style that you like.
Yeah, certainly from day one we've had a community approach where we took a slightly different stance on things, whether other groups are, this is what league is running this week, this is what league is running this night. We took a different stance. We were like, come on, let the community decide what leagues they want to run, and that's how it's been from day one. Obviously, if 2,000 people wanted a league run on one night, that's not possible. It obviously then goes to a group vote, and the highest wins, sort of thing. So that's what it's all about. It's community driving, and it shows on track as well. You get a lot of respect on the track, and that will definitely showcase itself tonight as well. So can we just see who's currently running in first place as well? Currently in the pits. So it's still Scooby out in first. Profubby in second. Ginger's moved up to he's moved into fourth.
So he's just on the start of a new lap. So
that is a stunning M6. I love that M6. I like that. I like that livery. I have been running. I have been running the official BMW M Sport livery on it, but that blue and yellow that's a nice looking car. Now, I'm not sure why the camera there keeps focusing name changing to Tilbs. Not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, there's one thing we noticed with the broadcast. It's very, very good feature. It's gonna obviously revolutionise the way that races are broadcast live, not just for ourselves, but for any sort of league communities that broadcast their races. But a patch or two, hopefully, and it'll just tweak the sort of camera viewpoint so it catches up a little bit quicker when the cars disappear off the screen to the edges.
So the times there between the top three as well. I mean, NGR-GEN's just outside of the sort of bunch at the top there, the top three. I mean, what do you think GEN's can do to push forward? I mean, he's got a nice, powerful car for this track. It's got a nice top speed, but what is it that you think he could do to maybe sort of bridge that gap down? Do you think this is the top three are are they all running Ferraris? I think they're all in Ferraris at the moment, so it could be that we see a sort of slight difference in maybe the Ferrari's more suited to I wouldn't say an imbalance, maybe the Ferrari's just more suited to this type of track.
It could be down to setup. I mean, it in terms of getting used to the car, you want to sort of find what your optimum sort of aero settings are. There's a little bit of contact with an R8 there, that wasn't intentional, but you know, you can sort of set it where it doesn't quite have the optimal downforce, so you're getting a bit too much drag, and that can cost you through the corners and down the straight. But overall, I think to be close to the Ferraris, which we know is a superb car out the box, maybe it is just a case of fine-tuning and dialing in the settings on the setup for that.
I mean, whatever happens in practice and qualifying as well, once that, you know, that finishes and everyone's on the grid and it's waiting for the lights to go off, you're literally right behind that car, and it's just apply the pressure, concentrate, put it on him. You know, times in qualifying can sometimes mean absolutely nothing. If you can't handle that pressure, then there's not really a lot you can do about the guys behind you, to be honest. But all these guys, you know, they're well used to racing and will handle the pressure well, but they're also very good at applying the pressure. And this track has got a little bit of a stagger there. So obviously this is the AI taking over just at the moment. So just easing it round while waiting for the
speed.
Wait, just admiring the crowd as they drive past, admiring the autumn trees.
Very nice trees, lovely foliage.
So well done to Scooby. He gets bragging rights for the practice session there. Now it's on to what matters for the race. So we're on to qualifying. So everyone in the pits at the moment. So we can see Amiga out onto track.
Amiga. Again, that
Amiga
looks gorgeous in red.
Currently the highest racing license holder in the lobby tonight, so he's been hammering the online of Project Cars 2 at the moment. He's got his lights.
Been successful at it by the looks of things as well, so good show for him with the getting the NGR sort of at the top of the tree when he's doing the online races. And fair play, if you get your higher license, you're probably more likely to be matched up against drivers of similar quality, and hopefully that will mean less sort of corner one incidents and sort of really childish, immature driving that a lot of people sort of say.
Oh, and he overcooks it there. Just go around the corner.
Straight away.
So there we go. The commentator curse there. Start saying someone does good.
Again, a gorgeous Lambo, that, isn't it?
It's almost
like a wasp.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to sting some of the opposition tonight as well, and get some of those places there. But that is an absolutely stunning looking car, and it sounds awesome as well.
Yeah.
You can hear there the engine cracking and popping. They didn't then. I thought it was going to crack and pop there, but unfortunately didn't. That NSX as well. Again, another sexy car. I absolutely love the look of that car. So you can see him weaving, getting some heat in the tyres. Everyone will be wanting to get the heat in as quick as they can. We've got 45 minutes of qualifying to go as well, so plenty of time. And you'll see the lap times really drop now as well, with having a good length of qualifying to get through. So still a few people still in the pits there as well. Maybe just getting the thoughts together, getting the head together. Everyone knows what they've got to do. So we'll stay with Ninja at the moment as well. So it looks like it's
to start its first hot lap.
You can see in there, just taking it slightly easy, but looks like it's got some heat in those tyres there, real nice and smooth around the corners.
I say it could be a case of he just wanted a good exit from that final corner, so he get the maximum speed as he gets down the straight for the start-finish line. And what we'll do is we'll just drop into his cockpit for the moment and just see it from his point of view.
So you'll notice that there's a massive N for neutral, but obviously he is going through the gears. It's just a replay feature that does need working on at the moment, so unfortunately we won't be able to tell you what gear he's running.
I think that could be just I think it's a sort of protection thing, because if you sort of like look at a fast driver and you're able to sort of see which gears he's in, you can probably figure out what sort of gear ratio he's running in terms of the final drive, or if he's changed his gear ratios, and maybe it's just to protect that you're not sort of giving away your secrets as such for those, because you know, invariably someone could sort of spy on it and figure out what sort of speed you're hitting and sort of calculate the downforce. So
I suppose
I think
so. Yeah,
it's more to do with that.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Obviously, you know, protect the driver and his skill of how to drive the car. Yeah, that's not a bad shout actually. It's me a full power, pedal right to the floor, and then braking down 2 gears. Just is he? Oh, unlucky. He's managed to.
Well.
Yeah, he did say it could have been a lot worse. That is a tricky cut, especially on cold tyres. That's a real shame. That wasn't looking like a bad first lap. I know we are on board with Amiga. Well, we can see Amiga on the screen now as well.
He's coming to the end of a lap. I think this is a hot lap. We will soon see.
So we wait with bated breath.
Does almost look as if that Ferrari is smiling at you, and why wouldn't it when you look that good?
So there's the first time there. We've got a 2:02, which is a respectable time for a first lap. So I'm sure we'll see.
Definitely.
I think we'll get down to the 2-minute mark at the moment.
Yeah, that was Fraser, but we'll stay on board with Amiga just for this hot lap and see if he can get it round and post a time and see where he comes in.
If we could just go to an onboard view just for this lap for Gary.
We can indeed.
So that's Scott McFall there. He's just took second, so it's just under a second and a half behind Fraser at the moment. So on board now with Amiga. That Ferrari sounding gorgeous. Really using the full width of the track as he can.
I also like the dash as well inside. It's something else. We have a few of the tyres trackside sort of on the track, so someone must have just gone off. And tricky sector this. You've got to be so careful on your throttle management as you sort of exit the corner and get the power down. Got to get the weight shifted left to right and right again, at least twice from my experience on this track, and it's not an easy thing to do. I suppose Eggy Davis will be having fun in McLaren doing that, yeah, with its twitchy characteristics.
So see there, Gary getting the power down. Uses the curbs.
The upwards section now.
And this is the part now where you think, okay, I've had a decent lap. Keep your head concentrated. Don't lose focus now. You know that straight's there. Uses the offering of the track.
And you've got this corner. You've got to get your braking just at the top of the crest of the hill. Clip the apex.
The problem with that, it is almost like a blind corner as well. You know it's coming, but it hits you like a smack in the face, and you've got to be sharp. You've got to be quick on it. So he's in
that lap at time.
Maybe it was discounted at some point. It might be when he used that offer, and he might have just used slightly too much of the track limits.
Possibly. I mean, it didn't give me any sort of information to say it was discounted.
Maybe it was his outlap. So I think what we'll do is we'll stay on board with Amiga just to see if he can move into the top 3. Positioning the Ferrari well there as well. He goes off a little bit uncomfortable through that corner there as well.
And we know in the race that wouldn't actually cause a penalty, but for qualifying, most likely that's been invalidated.
Yeah, I mean that'll massively settle his car there as well. So not what you want. You'll lose. You know, he's lost half a second easily there by that little mistake. But it's an easy one to make. I mean, his tyres still won't be fully warm yet, so he's still working at those tyres.
We have got Cam, we have got Matt Jordan who's gone. Is it Matt Jordan or am I?
Yeah, Cam. Yeah, so Cam 1, 2, 3. So he's
201 there. Let's just jump on board with him and see how he's getting on. Our quickest guy so far. Great little section of the track this. Again, it's a very technical track. where your positioning for your corner entry is vitally important. Well, as is everything, I suppose. But to really sort of optimise it, you've got to get your turning angles right.
It's nice. He's just feathering the throttle as he goes round, using as much of the track as he can there. That's a nice little line through that section of the track. Looks like he might be able to improve on his lap time here. Gets the power down. So he's down. It's very nice. Oh, he wants to be careful of that.
Corner apex there. Ah, that's very nice indeed. Blind corner at the top now.
So just see. So you want to brake about now. Hug that curb. Ease off a little bit. Power down. It's a nice wide corner. You've got a lot more grip than what you think there. And it's onto the home straight.
He's half a second up here. Oh, just over half a second. Yes.
So wonderful lap there from Cam. Choosing the 488 GT3.
No surprise. No surprise there. So let's just have a look at some of the guys who haven't quite put a time in yet. So we do have another McLaren on track.
Drew Shan 87 there. He's gone for the
so he's
orange.
Crossing the start finish line. Yeah, the traditional look.
I mean, when you think about McLaren GT3, that's the colour that springs to mind, really, isn't it? It's not the most stunning of liveries.
This variant of the car has been used in the recent World's Fastest Gamer sort of thing that have been was it on iRacing and R Factor 2. It was actually one of the first sort of paid content that came out on R Factor 2, rather than just sort of available content that's free from modding community. So we saw a lot of people giving it a go, and you know, good luck to all those who qualified.
He's just been pushed down to. It says he's been pushed down to 9th there at the moment. So obviously someone's just qualified there, moved into 8th. So Jushan, and there's someone else putting in a time there as well. So I mean, this hopefully will be his first time lap. So hopefully he'll move up into the field there as well. We've still got Cam who's just outside of that 2-minute mark. I think we might even see below the 2-minute by the end of this qualifying session. I mean, Cam is in the pits at the moment as well. So a lot of traffic out in the sections of the track there as well at the start. You know, sometimes it is best just to hold off, let everyone get out on the track, time your exit of the pits perfectly, and you know you've got a clear track in front of you. The last thing you need is traffic slowing you down. I mean, it's a wide track, but everyone wants to use the same line really in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really expert at it and you can sort of time it, if you get within.
Scooby G is just sorry to interrupt. Scooby G's just putting a fastest lap, so that's 2 Ferraris we've got on the grid at the moment on the top 2 spots. So let's see where Drew Shan comes through.
No, that hasn't registered, I don't think.
No, so that must have been his outlap as well.
Well, we'll stay on board with. Well, we'll stay with him.
Oh, he's losing it. Oh, that's definitely not going to give him a lap time that he wants. He needs to get that car going.
We'll have a look at Pidgley. We'll catch up with him for the first time in qualifying.
It's
getting a bit of damage off on the front, so I don't know if he's had enough, but I take it it's damage is just visual only, is it tonight, or is it?
Yeah, damage. It's just to obviously keep the flow of the race going a little bit there until obviously everyone gets used to how the pit-ins work and stuff like that. It's just visual damage tonight, so it's just to add an effect to the stream. Knocking the tyres there as well. That is not going to make his Ferrari look any nicer. It's probably best to use a hammer to fix the car, not the tyres on the track.
Well, whatever works. If it knocks the metal back into place, it's all good. Just looks like the bumper's got a sly smile going on there. Yeah, baby.
So yeah, it looks like that was an outlet for him, or maybe the contact from the tyres might have discounted the lap as well. You do have to be careful about touching those tyres. You want to put the time. That's the Audi there going off.
Good to see that they didn't just try to rejoin the track, and they did. They were aware of their surroundings as Pidgey goes back into the pits. We'll have a look at the Wasp on wheels with Ninja.
Still waiting for Ninja to put in a lap time. And you can just see in the background there that McLaren, just how quick that is on the straights. So is that, I think we've actually got 3 McLarens out on the track there maybe tonight.
Yeah, you can see it sort of like raining in, but from experience, the Lambo is good all-rounder. A very modern car, you know, the electronics on it, the sort of the diff and all of that. It's very advanced. I think some people do prefer though the old style where it's a little bit more mechanical than electronical.
I think what Ninja's got to do is he's just got to ignore what's happening in the rearview mirror of that McLaren just getting closer and closer. Concentrate on his line in front. And basically, you know, if you've got a guy coming up behind you, the amount of pressure it can add onto it, and you're trying to get your lap time in, it is a difficult thing. I mean, look at that McLaren, just how close it is coming up to him. That McLaren playing it nicely though. He's not applying too much pressure. He's backed off there. He's obviously out on his.
Yeah.
That's Ninja going off. I think maybe he was letting him past. Maybe that was an
I just want to see who that was in the. So that was.
That's the Les.
So yeah, well, he was showing some pace there. So we'll stick with him as he comes through the last corner for a hot lap. Because with him slowing down there, this probably won't qualify a time. But let's see what he can do on this hot lap now. We do have someone else at the top of the grid. Just to quickly, the Scooby is retaken pole by 3/10.
So Cam's still in second there as well.
As we go back to the McLaren of the Les.
So the Les, unfortunately, is the Audis. Oh, both of them go off there as well. Obviously, concentrating on the car in front. Sometimes that can happen. Car in front can make a mistake, and you just seem to trace the path that they go on. I've done it myself loads of times. It's lack of, you know, you have that little lapse of concentration, and unfortunately, these cars, they'll make you pay for that. You've got to keep your concentration on. You look at the car in front.
It was basically the first one of the things that the racing guys when I did a track day at Autumn Park, they said just focus on your lap. Don't look at the car ahead and worry about what they're going to do, because if they go off, you'll follow them off.
I'm just looking now because it appears that Eggy Davis is now running in a 488 Ferrari. Whether maybe during practice he wasn't feeling the car, he might have had a chat to the steward just saying, look, is there any chance, I'm new to the game, is there any chance that I could just maybe choose a Ferrari? You know,
I think he's gone there. He's knocked on the door. He said, "Look, I've got a Ferrari spare sitting out in the car park. Do you mind if I jump in?" You know.
I mean, I haven't seen Eggy on the game much, to be fair. So if I was starting out and I wanted a GT3 car, I'd probably just advise the Ferrari as well, just to learn the game, learn the new sort of physics model, the new tyre model. It is a nice car to learn the game in, and it's fast as well.
Yeah, I mean it very, very popular on iRacing when it was released a few months back. A lot of people who sort of were a little bit tired with the choice of GT3 cars. You know, you had the Z4, the Mercedes, you know, different variants. I think the R8 was available, but the Ferrari was pined for a long time. So when it hit and it was as good as it was, it became a very, very popular choice. And it's the same story in Project Cars 2.
Yeah, definitely. And so we've got just under 30 minutes left to go. If you are watching the stream, you know, get involved in the comments as well. Based on performances at the moment and times coming in, do you think it's going to stay with Scooby at the top? Is Cam going to be able to take that place back? let us know who you think. We've got people monitoring the chat as well, you know, getting involved in chats with you as well. So you get involved and, you know, let us know what you think the outcome of the race is going to be, who's going to get that pole. So we can see there just in front of him, we don't belong here. Is just in front of him at 9th at the moment there as well. Ju Shan in that McLaren, currently just sitting behind him. Attempt still to put a time in at the moment is Ju Shan. Still quite a few of them to put a time in at the moment.
Yeah, Pro Fubby hasn't gone out yet, which I was quite surprised at.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I've found on the game, the longer you stay out, the better it is. You'll find that as your tyres get, pick up heat, your lap times will come down as well. So it might be one of them where the pitting in, just maybe waiting for people just to pit in as well, maybe give it a bit clearer tight. You can see there from the map on the right of the screen, all the white dots. There's quite a lot of traffic around sections of the track. So see Eggy Davis there as well.
Must have been discounted for going off, so we will have a look at Pro Fubby. Again, another Ferrari.
I mean, those guys will be thinking, oh, it's been 15 minutes, well, 20 minutes now. What can I do to get a time? It literally is get your head down, concentrate. Don't use, if you can avoid the curbs, don't use them, because sometimes the littlest bit too much, you use those green off runs, discounts the lap, and you could have a perfect lap up to that. So just take it a bit easy around the corners, find your flow and just relax into it. That's the best way to get your times, especially with these longer qualifying sessions. There's no rush to get that perfect lap straight away. Let the others out there get the track rubbered in. That's the best thing about live track free on Project Cars 2. Track will start getting more grip around at the corners. You'll find it easier to get the times as you just let it come naturally. You don't have to force it. So Pro Fubby, I think this might be an outlap for him. I could be wrong. He's moved up to 5th there, so nice time for him there as well. So he'll be on a mission now. I don't know if you want to go on board with Fubby.
We will indeed.
So we'll see from the driver perspective here. And we'll just let you enjoy the sound of that Ferrari. So
I was reading saying he's already half a second quicker, so that will move in upper place.
The Audi R8 is...
He was a bit wide there.
It'll be a shame if he is already off a second up on his time. Not the cleanest of sections there. Could gain another time if he just got that section right. Taking those corners maybe just a little bit too slow. Probably could have put the power down a little bit more on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe he's going for the slow in, fast out mantra and seeing if that works.
Yeah, so just letting it glide around the corner.
Quite shallow into that there, so he didn't quite get the apex as he may have wanted. Maybe a bit of understeer.
Slight bit of oversteer there as well. You see him sort of, car just became slightly unsettled.
Yeah, I don't think he was up on his time because he didn't get any notification when he went through at T2.
It might have been where you said that he might have used a little bit too much of the track limits. Might have gone a little bit too wide. So he's moved up to 3rd. Almost a second off his time. So I think if he gets that Sector 2 dialed in, I think we could see a challenge for 1st place.
Yeah, definitely. He's just outside of Cam and Scooby there. So let's have a look. We've got Amiga.
So Amiga there, highest
done a time yet.
Highest license in the lobby, but maybe the pressure's showing on him tonight. I'm sure he'll pull something out the bag though.
So we'll go on board with Scott McFall. We haven't seen much of him so far tonight.
So he's got slight damage there. I believe Scott is running in the Cadillac there as well, so only Cadillac in the field tonight. He's got a slight bit of left damage. Obviously it's not going to affect the performance, but it obviously shows that he had a little bit of a struggle. with the
We'll be
Cadillac.
doing it for the US of A with the Cadillac.
That was actually one of my favourite GT3 cars from Project Cars 1. It's nicely planted to the ground. So he's obviously on it.
You used it for a few seasons, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I used it for about 3 seasons. I really enjoyed the car. He's obviously on an outlap there. He's slow to let the faster guy through.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I did, I think, was it one season in the 12C, but I couldn't help myself, and I always went back to the Sed 4. Just one of them things.
That's still one car that I've yet to try. Here it is, that stunning M6. So GEN is currently running in 6.
Yeah, I mean, I did try to persuade you to jump in the Sed 4 for one season at least in the last Project Cars, but you kind of resisted, and I know that your opinion was maybe it was a bit too easy to drive, but you know, in that respect, it was just a pleasure to drive, and it was so good at so many different tracks and so adaptable with the right setup that I just couldn't sort of leave it for long.
See that little flash of the lights there from GEN to say thanks so much to Fraser letting him past. You know, Ginger's head will be so focused on getting this lap time down. Here he comes across the line. Does he improve? He doesn't improve on his time. So he's currently running with a 2:02. A little bit of a lock up there as well. Unfortunately, that is definitely going to discount his lap there. Wonderful NSX driven by NGR Fraser. So currently running in 4th. So tonight, once again, is brought to you in association with Thrustmaster, Gubbo Racing Seats and Talent Drinks. Thank you very much for helping us out at NXTGEN, guys. Please check out our sponsors.
Yeah, them Talent Drinks are nice.
Fraser is almost 10 seconds down on his lap time at the moment. I thought Fraser was actually running...
Sorry, mate, you were going to say?
I thought Fraser was actually running in the Lamborghini, the multicoloured one, but obviously I am wrong in that.
Oh, no worries. Well, you mentioned Thrustmaster there as well, one of our affiliate sponsors, and you're getting an Alcantara.
Yeah, currently running the T300, the Ferrari GT version, upgrading the wheel there to the Alcantara rim. So look forward to receiving that in the near future. So Fraser here.
The feel is fantastic.
So Fraser, you can see Fraser's.
That's also class.
Fraser's on a mission here at the moment. That NSX is planted to the ground. It's thrown it round the corners at the moment.
Looks like it's got a slightly wider wheelbase, so it's probably got that little bit of extra sort of sturdiness.
See, and what you'll see now,
easier to shift the weight.
The cars that are staying on the line that most people are taking, you'll see them being able to attack the corners a lot more violently, a lot more faster, because it'll start getting rubbered in and more grip will come. I mean, this NSX looks like it's taking full advantage of that. It's just throwing it round the corners.
It reminds me a little bit of the Audi in terms of the shape, and especially the sort of rear aero sort of filters that are on either side of the back panels there, you can see.
I personally think it's a slightly better looking car than the Audi. I'm not taking any away from the Audi. It's a stunning car. But I like the front end on the NSX. It's got that futuristic look about it. And to be fair, I'm a massive fan of the old NSX as well. I still think in my heart I prefer the older NSX, but I'm an old man now. I prefer the older cars as well. I just wish Subaru would maybe looking to move into the GT3 market. Scooby's just set a new fastest lap there as well. I think he's just improved in it.
159. Almost. Well, the NSX, the little fins at the front look like little gills for the, almost like mini spoilers. And as I say, it looks good. For me, it's somewhere between the Audi and the Lambo, especially the sort of the back bit, just in front of the spoiler, the sort of fins there, the cooling. But yeah, lovely car.
Yeah, say that. I mean, I don't think I've ever said this about a car, but the fins, I suppose it does have a bit of an aquatic look about it, to be fair. I mean, if you were going to make, if a car was going to evolve into a fish, it probably would be that NSX, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe they've got ambitions to make an amphibious vehicle in future.
Honda I wouldn't put it past Honda, to be fair. So that's Fraser. Looks like he's made a little bit of mistake there. Kicking up the gravel, needs to be careful about putting that on the track. That is not a safe place to have gravel. That'll make it very, very slippy for people. So Davis still hasn't been able to put a time in.
Put a lap time in, yeah. I mean, I don't know, it's one of them where, is it better just to get a time in, take it a little bit easier so you complete a lap legally without getting time disqualified, otherwise you're going to lose out there.
He's going into the pits, so it's, you know, I don't think he's finding himself in the game at the moment. So we've still got Amiga, who's, you know, I would have put money on him being in the top 5 at least at the moment, but
yeah,
maybe
still
just
got 15 minutes
lucky.
and plenty of time.
Yeah, it could be one of them that upsets a few people, puts a time in at the end. He did it in our GT3 race at Bathurst the other night. I think it was after qualifying ended, he was still on his lap, and right at the end he put in a time to take pole. There's Stu Shannon, the McLaren there as well. And the Lamborghini coming into shot. You can't miss that Lamborghini in its multicoloured livery.
Someone's thrown up on it, but made it look good.
Oh, taking maybe a bit too much of the grass there. So you can see on the outside of the track there where the marbles have started forming from the tyres, so definitely one part of the track to avoid.
Yeah, definitely one of the cool features for the live track 3.
You know, and marbles did appear on the track in Project Cars 1, but they were just there for show, didn't really affect it. Well, it didn't affect it whatsoever. But these days, it looks like Amiga might a little bit, maybe on an outlap, he was weaving there to get some heat in the tyres.
I think maybe this is the lap after an outlap, but he's gone off, and maybe he's still struggling to get a little bit of heat in the tyres, so he's trying to get it in before he gets to the final few corners of this lap, and then really hammer it home.
Those yellow lights blazing, piercing through the sunlight there. Yeah, say what you like, but that is a stunning looking car.
Yeah, I think with the Ferrari and some of the others as well, they you know, they could be sort of like blue colour brown, and we'd still be sort of dribbling over the looks.
So lap still hasn't counted, so he's got to really get his head down. He's got to get his head down and put a time in soon.
Yeah, not long left now. I do appreciate the feature now with this Project Cars 2 with qualifying. If you are on the lap, it doesn't just end when it comes to the 0 mark. It will give you a few more minutes to complete your lap, as it does in the real world. But he's actually second down.
What's surprising though, it's saying that he's a second down on his best lap, but maybe it still counts your disqualified laps as your best time as well. Yeah, it must do, because he hasn't got a qualifying lap time in yet.
No, not as yet. Although it did sort of, for some reason, switch to Fraser, and I don't know if it was sort of showing his time or Amiga's, so we'll find out. It's coming up to sort of the sector 2 point in a few moments.
I mean, Gary's a good driver. What do you think's going through Gary's head at the moment? He's yet to put in a time. You can see the clock ticking down. He's got just over 10 minutes left. What's going through that lad's head at the moment?
Probably unwavering belief. He probably knows that if he strings all the sectors together as well as he knows he can, he knows that he can be in the top 4 or 5. But again, there, I mean, he's used all the sort of runoff there and the curb. But as we know with this in qualifying, if all 4 wheels are over that white line on the outer bit, you kiss your lap time goodbye on most occasions.
I mean, it was over like a second down, so I don't think.
Yeah,
he was going to have a nice lap time to show, but it would have been nice to get something on the board.
we'll find out now. I mean, he may have got away with it, but I doubt it very much. Yeah, as predicted. So,
I mean, because you know, it is a bit disheartening where qualifying ends and unfortunately you didn't get a time on the board. You know, it doesn't put you in the right frame of mind for the race start, and then you've got a lot of traffic to get past as well. So here we see what we are.
It can work for some people sometimes. If they're a little bit further down, they can maybe avoid a melee if there's an incident up ahead, and that can work to their advantage if they get a bit of luck. But no, you normally want to be up towards the top 5, 6 or 7 to at least give yourself that if you get a flying start off the line, then you're going to be going into that first corner with a great chance of coming out of it in a high position. And then if you're consistent through the race, it makes all the difference.
So we can still see Scooby in the pits at the moment there as well. I mean, he's very close to the 2-minute line. You know, I think he's happy with it. He knows that it's going to take something good to beat that time. So maybe he's just having a sit off, maybe monitoring. He might be doing the monitoring the others, watching how they drive, watching what sort of lines they're taking, you know, watching what corners they're weaker on. So he, you know, if something does go wrong, he's got a mental note of where to attack those, you know, the plays that he feels are the most risk to his win tonight.
Definitely. I mean, as I say, there's going to be some strategy involved. But again, I think maybe it is a case of some of these guys are trying out these cars for the first time in a racing qualifying situation. So
there we've got some timings at the bottom there as well. So there's the top 6 for you.
On screen, we just see here. So everyone pretty much out on track now, bar a few. I mean, hopefully we will see everyone post at least one qualifying lap time. We've got 5, 6 drivers who haven't as yet.
And 10 minutes to go, so just enough time to put in 4 or 5 laps.
3, 4, 5, yeah. If you're out on track now, but if you're you know, leaving the pits, it sort of restricts the amount of laps you can put in, so you don't want to sort of miss out, because really the first top lap is still going to be running on less than optimum tyres and brakes, I'd imagine.
So just checking out the
one wheel on the grass, using the, you know, making sure as wide as possible before turning in.
So a couple of chats on YouTube, couple of comments on YouTube there as well. A few people say that, do we think the Ferraris may be overpowered top 5 or in the 488? Yeah, I mean, we sort of mentioned this in the stream. It's one of those cars that it's so nice to drive, especially on stock setup, and that is, does it have a bit of an advantage over the other cars? Maybe to sort of patch something into maybe do it, or maybe it's suited better to this type of track. I mean, as we can see, we've got Amiga at the moment who's still to put in a time. He's in a Ferrari, so maybe it's just the top 5 or the best 5 drivers in this lobby tonight. Maybe they've got their head in the game. There's many different factors you have to take into account. I think it might have got a little bit too hard on the grass there as well.
Definitely on the exit as well, as we see in R8 spinning off.
Looks like he's struggling with that Audi there. He's not having a great time there. We don't belong. He has actually put in a lap time though.
He has, and it's not too bad at all. So I think if he can
so it's just
bring it all together, he can definitely take a second or 2 off there.
Oh, needs to be careful. Well, almost going on the slippy part of the track. There it was. Unfortunately, just unsettles the car. Picks up a little bit of dirt on his tyres. So you need to be careful about weaving it now. The track is not clean.
Probably just trying to get the little bit of grit and dirt that's on there, just get it off and get the heat back in. The tyres do heat up quickly, but they cool down even quicker, in my experience. So if you do go off and you get a little bit of that dirt, you're going to lose that optimum performance for sure.
Stunning looking car that there as well. I'll probably say that about every car that comes on screen tonight is stunning, but it's, you know, it's just the fact of the matter, that's how it is. So Scooby still with that provisional pole at the moment, and he'll be thinking to himself, I've done this, I've done enough.
Yeah, I mean, no sign of him sort of going out, and with Cam as well. Just under the second gap, but maybe they are in the sort of thinking that that's it. The car setup I like, that's giving me that time. I'm now going to sort of watch the others, see how they're doing, think about the race strategy, plan ahead.
Audi going off again into the dirt and bringing it onto the track. Does need to be careful. He's not going to make it more difficult for himself and others.
But you know yourself, you can do a fast lap like you know, that has been done by Cam and that. But if you then say, right, well, can I go faster than that? I wonder if I can tweak the setup, and then you sort of get out of that sort of Goldilocks zone with the setup, where you had it like really nice to drive, and you make changes for the sake of making changes. Whereas leaving it as it is the best strategy. So yeah, I think the guys in the pits there at the top three definitely will be thinking about the race strategy ahead now with 5 minutes left.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I completely agree with what you're saying there. You think, oh well, if I just maybe reduce the downforce, I might be able to get a bit faster on the straights. But you lose it on the corners. It is a gamble that you can take. And with this amount of time left in qualifying, you probably don't want to be adjusting setups to force feedback or anything, just so you go into a race blind. To be fair, you change the force feedback just a little bit, you don't get enough time out on track to practice, and you know what you've achieved in qualifying has completely gone out the window.
Yeah, once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. But we are looking at he's 5 seconds down, so I'm just going to jump over to Pro Fubby, who's on an outlap. So he's got 5 minutes plus any additional time if he is on a lap when qualifying ends.
So yeah, you're looking at two laps here.
Yeah, he'll have enough time to get them tyres and brakes up to temperature. Let's see if any of the changes he made in the pits, if he's made any, is going to have an impact. I am jealous of these guys. I would love to be out on track tonight. I'm sure yourself would agree.
I'd absolutely love to. I can't get enough of this game at the moment. It's just blew me away just how much of an improvement it is. I'm not going to get into conversations about, you know, things that people are saying are wrong with it. In my opinion, yeah, there's a couple of bugs, but in my opinion, it's such an improvement over the first. The cars are now easy to drive. 90% of the time you can now catch a car on a slide. Project cars, you're probably looking at 5% of the time. In that, it was probably just a case of, are you lucky enough, or you're not lucky enough. It wasn't anything to do with your control of the car. It was kind of like, all right, we'll let you do it that time. Do the same thing again on Project Cars 1, and the car would just spin round again and again, sort of thing. So yeah, I'll probably, after this race, I'll probably go on just for some giggles, just have a couple races. I went in Clio Cups the other night, and that was just an absolute blast. I absolutely loved it. Went round the corner on 2 wheels. It was amazing.
Seeing that, yeah.
So Pro Fubby, he's not moved up, so he's still in 3rd place. Oh, but that was his outlap anyway, wasn't it? So
it was. So let's see how he does here.
Attacking a bit more ferociously around the corners now. The sound of that engine just piercing the air.
Yeah, but let's be honest. I mean, there's something you can find the flaws in every sort of sim that's out there. You know, Assetto, whether that's on console or the PC version. Same with iRacing. Same with R Factor 2. The one for me that I think out of the box that if it was available on console would just be a revelation, but it just does so many things well. In particular, force feedback and handling is Automobilista. And before that, Stock Car Extreme. I mean, Reza Studios done a stunning job, but I can't see myself going back to them for a while, simply because what SMS have done with this is really elevated it up to that sort of level, in my opinion. So they've done a cracking job.
I mean, if you're watching this stream and you don't own Project Cars, you've got a PlayStation 4, and you think, you know what, I'd like my car racing games. I'm not too up on I don't really know much about setting cars up and stuff like that. Come over to Next Gen, get a copy of the game, and just enjoy it, because there's the amount of people that will give you advice on setups and stuff. I mean, you've got the race engineer mode in the game now as well. It'll give you advice on, you put a question in, so you're like, oh, my car's not turning as well as it should. It'll give you advice on what to change stuff. But there's the amount of forums out there and stuff where people give advice on setup changes. But also, the cars work really well on stock anyway, so if you like online racing, you're fed up of public lobbies where even with the racing license, you know, that's a great, but you still have to work your way up. Come over to Next Gen, get involved in some public races, and just enjoy this game for what it is. It's just amazing. And the GT3 cars, that, you know, it's stellar work what they've done to it. I absolutely adore this game, and I just can't get enough of it.
I'd definitely be looking forward to if we do any sort of the GT the endurance, maybe 3-hour races or 4-hour races or even longer. You know, if people are up for it, that can be sort of done.
I personally can't wait. I mean, we did it was for Billy Munger. We did a 24-hour race to raise some funds for him. I think a 24-hour race on this game with, like, you know, rain to dry and stuff like that, just watching the track change, it'd just be an immense driving experience. So definitely one that I would I think is going to happen in the maybe not the near future, but definitely will happen in the future for Next Gen. We've got a couple of endurance charity races planned again coming up. More news to that to be posted once we've sorted out the finer details, but I can tell you the first race is going to be an 8-hour endurance race. So yeah, if you are into endurance racing, not so much league racing, but you're into endurance, come and join Next Gen, get involved in those events that we're going to be running as well. I want to say, if you are new to it and you're thinking, oh well, I want to get into it, get yourself a cheap Thrustmaster T150. Amazing wheel, you know, good force feedback, and for the price, get yourself one with a set of T3 PA pedals. If you can afford it, go up to the Pro. We actually Pro Fubby, he's down on his time. Don't think he's enough to knock Cam off at the moment. But yeah, get yourself a little bit of a decent setup, wheel wise, or even with a pad. You know, people are playing this game with a pad. And just get involved. Just come and enjoy this game. If you enjoy cars and you enjoy racing with your mates online, get involved in this game. It's, you know, it's out of this world for fun factor.
Yeah, and the experience is elevated with like, as you say, the Thrustmaster. The T150 for the price range is an epic wheel.
He's moved up to second. He knocked Cam off. Yeah. He did. So that was a nice little end sector to him. So nice little time there as well.
Doesn't have any time to respond either.
Unfortunately,
not on track here. Got the Lambo.
Oh, it was Edu. Sorry, Edu was in the Lambo. I thought it was Fraser before, but yeah.
Apologies to Edu. I know we've not actually looked at much of his sort of qualifying tonight. We've sort of passed him by, but I'm sure he's going to be right in the thick of it come the race. The 202 is his best, so yeah, he's not a million miles off.
He's a good racer. He's a good sim racer, so he'll get his head down. He'll know what to do.
I think he's our most improved racer from watching him in the early days of the Clio Cup to when he sort of grew into it. And he was like challenging, you know, the really fast guys, you know, RS Jim that we know, and the FRT Holtman, you know.
Yeah, Cam and stuff. I think we nominated him as Clio Cup Racer of the Season, didn't we? I mean, it was an award that was an official, but we had to award him something because of just how much he's improved on his skill. So yeah, this is a player that's coming to Next Gen, getting used to, you know, group race and league race and stuff like that, and you know, over the last couple of months you've just seen him shine, to be honest. So not the best qualifying session for me at 8th, but again, like you say, most of the top cars are running Ferraris, so could be something in that Ferrari may be slightly overpowering a few people there. So fortunately didn't put in any times there either, and he's run out of time now.
Pits, have we got Ninja? Is he on coming into the end of this lap?
Is he going to do it? He's got
be able to complete it?
10 seconds left. I think he's going to run out of time, unfortunately.
Like, no.
It's time up. So there we go. So well done to Scooby. Taking pole there. He sat in the pits for a long time. I think Pro Fubby giving him Give it a little bit more time.
Food for thought there, right at the end. So we've got to warm up, or are we straight into the race?
No, it's straight on, standing start.
Right.
So it'll just be sinking. Players will be loaded in. So that's a lineup. That is a strong Ferrari out in there. Ferrari, if they are watching this, will be pleased with the show of Ferraris at the front. The Ferrari army is definitely out in force.
Ferrari army.
Again, so it may look like the game is froze. It's not. Don't worry. It's don't panic. See, NXTGEN's there. Push down the order just a little bit. So it all goes quiet just as the players start to sink. There we go.
Is Pitchy on pole? It's a bit strange.
So
it might be a glitch. We're underway anyway.
So it's underway. So lights gone green. There we see GEN's there trying to slice his way through in the BMW. 4 wide, almost going into corner 1. Cadillac losing it there as well, just off camera. That's unfortunately Scott before losing it there as well. Side by side. Audi getting a little bit pushy, sticking his elbows out maybe a bit too much. Edu's on the grass. He's recovered it though. He's back on track. As the cars scream round the first corner. Everyone keeping it relatively clean at the moment in lap 1. Edu pushed to the rather at the back there though, unfortunately, with that incident with the R8.
Scooby dropped down as well. That's Scott, sorry, my mistake. Ginge has made a good start. I think he was a little bit further down, but he's up to 4th.
So Scooby out in... I was saying there, Scooby first place, but that looks like it's second to me. Not quite sure what's happening there.
I think it's whatever sort of the camera's centred on rather than which driver I've got selected.
Okay, so we're currently following the action there as well, so real battle for second going on here. So Pro Fubby is in second place at the moment there as well, so he's got that Ferrari. There we see Ginge in the back there, pushing his way through in the M6, trying to find a way through. So we're on board.
Get on board with Pro Fubby here. He puts a bit of pressure.
I'm not really sure what's going on with the timings. It's making my job as commentator a little bit more difficult here because it looks like Pro Fubby's in 3rd and Cam's in 4th, so not quite sure what's going on with the timings there as well. We'll try and make head or tail of it in a second, but really applying the pressure here. Coming down the home straight, trying to get some draft off him, but he's going to have dirty air if he gets too close.
Got a good exit here. Get down on the throttle, can he get? Again, great pressure.
That's it, you don't want to push too hard, just get close behind. I think he's going to try a little lunge now, he thinks about it, backs out. He's going to trying to find a way through. Nice defensive driving there as well. We've got Fraser currently there,
side by side coming down.
And he makes his way through. See there on the map just how bunched it up. These two are fighting. This is a real fight for second. And this is only lap 2 of 30.
Just a little bit further back. We've
got off there as well.
Fraser again. 3 of them battling for 4th and 3rd.
Fraser really having to think about attacking, but he's really got to think about defensive driving here as well. Doesn't want to attack too much and leave the door open. So he's got Edu. Saying that Edu's just behind him. Not sure why that is. Edu looked further back in the Lamborghini there. So see Tibbs there.
Well, 7. Yeah.
So Eggy Davis there just in front of him in the Ferrari. Looks like he's made some good moves up the table in that Ferrari.
Says he's 14th on mine. Lots of confused things. Again,
So
apologies
Fraser,
if we're not quite sure of the positions. We are getting conflicting and confusing information from the game and the timings board. We'll do our best to get everything clarified.
See there, so Ginge now, you'll see that Fraser in that Honda catching up in his rearview mirror, but you'll also see that Ferrari's just behind there as well. So now we're following EDU here in the Lamborghini, trying to make his way up through the field after that little incident on lap 1 with the Audi. He knows that the Lamborghini's got some power, but is it enough power to fight with this Ferrari? Iggy Davis running extremely well from his qualifying time as well. Back with Fraser now as he's really looking to challenge Ginge here. The car's screaming there down the hill.
Yeah, you can see that Ferrari's quick through the corners, quick down the straights. We'll just jump to the front and see how Profubby's getting on. He is under pressure.
He's got a lot of pressure here, Scooby, and then we've got Cam 1, 2, 3 in the white Ferrari on board with Scooby now. Hugging the corners.
The pressure. Oh, that's a great exit there.
You see just in the rearview mirror there, just above the spoiler, is Cam just behind him. So Profubby leaves the door well open for Scooby. Scooby's going to say thank you very much, and he takes that place. It's side by side here at the moment. It might actually be just the back runner. I'm not really too sure, but...
Right.
Oh, that's Cam who's made his way into second place. That's a lovely move around the outside of Scooby to do that. Scooby's not going to take this line down. Scooby's going to hold this line. He's going to have the inside for the upcoming corner. Who breaks last? That's the brave thing to do here. Cam holds the line well. Very good driving from Cam there as well. And we see Profubby just easing away as these two battle it out. Or Cam kicking up a little bit of dirt. Wants to be careful. And we can see Fraser there in the background just really battling it out with Ginge as well. Easing off. And he's going to leave the door open. He is.
I think he's got the tighter lining inside going into this corner.
Fraser.
Again, your racecraft has got to be exceptional because you've got to, again, shift the weight.
Look at the distance. Oh, that's Cam 1, 2, 3 Diz going off on the corner there as well. Loses a lot of places in there. Drushan in the McLaren, who's going to be eating up on him now as well. Cam will be kicking himself, but just get your head down, concentrate. The race is not over. You've got plenty of laps left yet, son. That's Profubby all running. I thought he was going to run a little bit wide there. Managed to get back control of it. Scooby now applying pressure to him. He's got a nice little distance between him and Ginge, so he can now concentrate on attack driving. Profubby will just be
down the field as there's a few battles developing.
So there's Scott McFall in the Cadillac. Unfortunately, had that insert turn 1 where just back wheels touched the grass, locked up. So, you know, he's got plenty of time left, but he's now got to fight with some really decent drivers in front of him. He's got an Audi in front and an Audi behind.
At all, Phil?
There's no pits running tonight, so literally it's you just get out there and drive for 30 laps. So unfortunately no pit stop break for any of these drivers. There's Cam still running 4th. And there's Drushan as well in that McLaren who's catching up, and Ginge in the yellow and blue BMW. Oh, that's EDU in the Lamborghini. He's had an instant in the background there as well.
Have a look, where's he gone?
So there he is.
Little flash of the lights.
So he can't do it.
Slow down.
Back door. And there's Scott McFall who's... he's got the outside line now as well. So EDU struggling maybe a little bit with that Lamborghini. Scott McFall is going to make a little move down the inside here as well. Oh, and he's unfortunately... He's got off the line there. That's the problem. If you go off the line, the track, you're not going to have as much grip.
He's killed the cone.
There's that R8 struggling there as well. So I mean, unfortunately, that's one thing you've got to take into account. You go off the line, you're not going to have the grip. What you've got to do, so you've really got to be careful about veering off the racing line at the moment. Maybe it's always best just to hold back and attack after the corner.
Definitely, as we get to the front, it's very close between the front two Ferraris.
It's a Ferrari battle 1 and 2 at the moment. Pro Fubby doing enough to hold off Scooby at this moment in time. But this race is far from over. You can see the trailer cars there in the back. Oh, Cam almost looking to try and do a move on the outside. Doesn't pay off for him. Oh, Fraser locks up there as well.
Though.
So what looked like an
advantage, but Fraser's got the inside line, has he? Ginge also just going through that corner, trying to catch up to these guys. Oh, look at this! It's a great battle.
So Fraser has got the inside line. Jushan in that McLaren. We all know that McLaren has got some pace. Has to back off a little bit there. Cam making as wide as possible. Saying if you want to get past me, you're going to have to really try for it here.
Yeah, this is helping Ginge sort of close the gap and come into the equation in a moment.
Yeah, Ginge, I mean, he was running in 4th at one point, so obviously he's had a little bit of an incident. Drew Shannon really making these guys work for it here. Cam going off the line.
Too much curb. Too much curb. Unlucky.
Say what happened to Scott McFall in the Cadillac. You go off the line on that corner, you're not going to have the grip. It's better to hold back, relax, and just attack on these straights. That Ferrari, you know you've got the power for it. Apply the pressure, stick behind him. That's the best thing these guys can do, but Ginge will be loving that as well. He's making it easy to go. He's back up into 4th now. Cam will be kicking himself. Oh, that's Fraser who's got off onto the grass now as well. Cam goes past him.
Ginge goes, yeah, great performance by Ginge so far.
So now
to catch that McLaren now. As we get to the battle at the front, which is still Pro Fubby leading ahead of Scooby. But, you know, Scooby's closed that gap. Definitely brought him in by a few car lengths, so putting the pressure on, one mistake and it can make all the difference.
So yeah, it looked like Scooby had closed the gap, but on then that corner then it looked like Fubby had just got the better exit through it. But it's still not over.
A little bit more downforce and could go through a little bit cleaner, a little bit faster, get the throttle down earlier.
Gets a nice run up the hill, Scooby. Really applying that pressure hard. Fubby is not succumbing to it. So they come onto the straight to start lap 7 of 30. Here at NXTGEN GT3 at Bruno, brought to you by Thrustmaster, Corbu Seats and Talent Drinks. Take some of the grass at the wheels there. That is definitely going to help. I thought that was going to help Scooby. Scooby's going to capitalise then, but unfortunately not going to. Might have backed off. Didn't want to leave that line. Go onto the slippy part of the track. See a real gap now forming between the guys behind them. So all these have to do is concentrate. Drew Shannon, we know that McLaren is fast. Little flash of lights there to the crowd from Ginge.
Yeah, I wondered why he was flashing the lights, because it's not as if he's got the car ahead directly in front of him. There's a bit of a gap, but
Drew Shannon's going to be pushing that McLaren. That McLaren is fast. I think Drew can think he can catch up to the top two here.
I have got him down in 11th at the moment.
I thought Drew Shannon was in the white McLaren. Apologies then to the driver in the white. So Drew Shannon unfortunately in 16th then. So we'll try and find out who the driver of the white McLaren is. So Cam, after that unfortunate incident on the lap, and Fraser as well.
Fraser in that one. I've just got to try and flick through to find out who is in that McLaren. Please excuse me. Got there is the.
So there's unfortunately Tibbs having a bit of an instant, slams into the side there as well, kicking up a lot of gravel. Thankfully not bringing it onto the racer line on the track.
Thankfully without any damage he can carry on unabated.
I mean, damage is switched off tonight anyway, so if they do go off it's not going to affect the performance of the car. Real battle for first place, still in contention at the moment. Scooby, real now bumper to bumper action. Scooby applying the pressure, but Fubby is not succumbing to it. Scooby must be thinking. Scooby must be thinking here. What can I do? What can I do to get this guy to break? So we're on board now with Scooby. Thinks about going off the line. Not the wisest thing to do, as we've seen from a few of the other drivers.
Yeah, you don't want that curb because it will spit you out if you get on it.
Oh, looked like he may have a little bit of snap oversteer coming off the curb then, unsettled his Ferrari. The brakes, glides it round the corner, hugs the apex well.
He was definitely later on the brakes there for ahead of Pro Fubby, so I think that allowed him to go through a bit quicker. But I think there's sections of the track where Scooby is quicker and there's others where Fubby is quicker, and I think that is going to be sort of
I think what we'll see now is
for the remaining laps.
I think we'll see Scooby slightly gain on here. Scooby seems a bit more confident, a bit more comfortable around this section of the track. But then after this next corner, I think we'll see, there he goes. So you can see Scooby there. He's a bit more brave around there, but unsettles the car. Fubby managed to get away on this corner, and then it starts all over again. Scooby must be thinking, well, what can he do? He's trying every trick in the book.
Running more downforce, so you can see through the corners.
It's stock setup. It's stock setup tonight.
Right.
Oh, Scooby's made an awesome move down the inside. Oh, and Fubby gets, but he's saying not a chance, son.
That was brave.
That was a squeaky bum time then for Scooby. He's doing him here though, side by side, but Fubby's got the inside line for the corner. Fubby's not giving this up without a fight. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Into another lap and another battle where Scooby's throwing everything at this guy now.
And if you don't have hats, hold on to something else. Oh, again.
Needs to be careful there. I've seen a few cars slip. I think he's going to try to cut past him here. I just can't get speed. Is he going to try a late lunge?
Line here. I think he's
oh, Fubby really cut it close to the teeth there.
And we'll have a look at what I call the Forza view.
We're on chase cam view at the moment. So Fubby
those people
managed to put...
not to disrespect Forza fans, but it's a sim, and I use the chase cam. Nah.
So here we are. Scooby again. We know he's confident on this part of the track. Brakes late. Lets Fubby know he's there. Avoids any light contact though. Looks a little unsettled going around that corner. Does Scooby? Might have hit a little bit of dirt. See the car just shaking slightly. Oh, defensive driving by Fubby there. Took a very late line. Little kiss there from Scooby. These two are now really
moving under braking. Definitely a Max Verstappen move that. I think frowned upon in some quarters, but
yeah, stewards might want to take a little look at that. You know, it might be classed as dangerous, but this is racing.
It could have been that it maybe got a little bit twitchy at the rear end, and he just had to correct it, so it looked worse than what it was. But
Scooby playing it safe. He's clips the grass with his left. That's managed to save it. The car avoids any spin there, so he'll be a little bit gutted, but you know, well saved there from Scooby. Well, good driving. Late on the brakes again. He's getting more comfortable, more confident around these corners. You know, Fubby probably would have looked in his rear view there, saw him touch the grass, think, oh, have I lost him here? But no, still with him.
Apologies for the guys further down the field, but we've got to stick with this battle at the front. It's so engrossing.
Intense racing at the moment, provided from these two Ferraris.
Cam is coming into the equation because he's just been able to do his laps, which he's actually pretty much the same sort of lap times that the Fubby and Scooby have been putting in, but I think he's just shaving a little bit off each lap. And
oh, Fubby hit the tyres there as well. You know, Scooby, we're watching this, he'll know, oh, is he braking? Is he starting to rush things a little bit? Is concentration lapped? You know, these guys will be thinking, oh, I'm only 10 laps down, I've got another 20 of this to go.
Bring it on. Loving every second. We're just going to have a look.
So we see Cam Fraser not too far off him there as well. But Cam doing well. He's, you know, after that unfortunate lap where he had a couple of spins. See Ginge in the background there as well. A little bit lonely with Ginge at the moment.
Ooh, it's got a bit of a gap between the cars in front and the cars behind, but we have got a developing battle down in the middle order.
So it's EDU. Scott McFall is in the white. Oh no, he's in the Cadillac. Maybe that's a back runner in the McLaren there. Not really too sure. Must be one of the back markers. Amiga there in 11th.
What's happened to Amiga? Yeah, he's dropped right down.
So it is the left. So it's a back marker. So right. Where we're thinking this GT3 is in the heat of battle.
It's not quite. However.
And that is one of the things that these guys have to deal with. Not only trying to battle with the guy in front, but if you've got traffic, trying to find a way past them as well. I mean, they can't make it difficult, but they're also not just expected to dive out of the way. Here we see Scooby line his Ferrari up again. 4B's just not giving in to this pressure.
I really can't overstate how jealous I am of these guys being out on track. I love commentating, I love watching the action, but I'd much rather be in the cockpit driving them myself. However, that's to come, as it is Saturday tomorrow, and that means it's going to be the early hours before I get any sort of sleep, which I've got no complaints about because I get to drive this. Ha.
Let's face it, we haven't got the money to go out and do it in real life, but this is the next best thing. And this is the next best thing for Scooby. Fubby, though, saying, no, not today, son. You're going to have to come round again. Fubby really, really putting up a good fight here. I think it is just going to be a case of if you make a mistake, if you don't, you're safe. Oh, Scooby not getting the best entrance into that corner. Takes a little bit wide there as well.
I think actually he sort of went through a little bit faster, used the full track to his left, and but again, that, you know, for that initial sort of entry into the corner, you gain a bit of time, but because you've got to slow the car down to make sure you don't just go off, you lose that time before you can get on the throttle again and get the power down.
I personally think that the best thing Scooby can do is just stay on the line that Fubby's on, keep applying that pressure. We've seen Fubby hit a few tyres. Is that through, you know, is that when he succumbs to the pressure? Scooby's gonna think about lunging here. There's just not enough in it. Oh, but has he got the line here?
I do like that they are taking different lines. It's a strategic battle, and it's sort of interesting to watch how both of them are approaching this race in terms of defending and attacking. And I think Scooby is sort of saying he's trying to make sure he's in Fubby's mirrors, you know, and he knows that he's on his left, he's right. Where's he going to go? And is he going to dive down the inside or go on the outside? And it's just keeping him on his toes through every corner of the track.
Maybe Scooby's playing the long game where he's like, I'm just going to keep doing this line, and then maybe one lap he'll change it up, which will throw Fubby off a little bit, but maybe wants to keep it going. So where, you know, later on in the race, littlest thing can affect the concentration. So maybe that's what Scooby's doing. He's playing the long game here, but I tell you what, he's playing a fantastic game as he does it.
Yeah.
Nothing between these two whatsoever. Just under half a second now, just between them. Absolutely nothing between them. So we can see there, See the time there in the green box just at the top of the screen. So Scooby's managed to close a little bit. Very, very close between them now. But unfortunately, Scooby seems to do it there, gets close to him, and then he seems to move out left, and he can't seem to hold the same line as Fubby through that corner. You know, and that's all Fubby needs to do. Just keep doing this, keep on his line, keep the defensive driving going, and you know, Scooby's not going to be able to get past if Fubby keeps up this game.
Then we'll see as the sort of race develops and we get towards we're getting the halfway point in a couple of laps. But you know, will Scooby become desperate as we get as the laps sort of run out for him to make a move, and as we just sort of have a look at a battle developing. A bit further back, Fraser in third, followed by Cam, and then Ginge. Ginger's definitely caught up with Fraser and Cam.
Yeah, that M6
not so lonely anymore.
M6 is definitely running well at the moment. These guys cannot afford another mistake though if they want any chance of... Can they catch the front two the way those two are running? I'm not sure it's possible, but if these guys want third place, they can't afford any more mistakes. Fraser's holding on to it.
If you had to nail your colours to a mast for the forthcoming GT3 season, the first on Project Cars 2, which car are you going to be using, Phil?
I don't know. I love the M6. I love the R8. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the M6. Here we go, though. Battle on. Oh, I thought they were a bit closer than what they were.
You know what my answer is going to be.
I'd like to see it on board here with Cam if we can just get that.
Of course we can. The miracle of technology allows me to.
So, this is Fraser that we're on board with now at the moment. Here we are on board with Cam. So now we'll see just how close it looks like to these guys in the car. Oh, Fraser making a little bit of mistake there. He's gone wide. He's hit a dirty part of the track. Unsettled the car. It slides out to left, but he is going to have the inside of the corner. Moves over right.
Definitely making
defends
the car
that line.
as wide as possible there.
Cam using the curbs there. Get as much drive as he can from this Ferrari. Right on the bumper of Fraser.
Sniff down the left, diving on the inside.
He's definitely going to make the move stick here. Can he get the speed to make it stick? You can hear Fraser to the left of him there. Side by side on the home straight. Cam has got just in front of him.
That was nice. Hang on a minute. We have...
So have we... So we must admit, unfortunately we've missed some action at the front, but it looks like Furby may have had an off moment. And Scooby has managed to get into first place. And here is your battle for third place between Cam 123 Diz in the Ferrari and NGR Fraser in the Corner NSX. Fraser gets back in front.
I am just going to see what's happened.
Where's Fubby gone? Fubby seems to have disappeared.
Has he been disconnected? It could well be the case.
It looks like he's disappeared from the race. That's a real shame.
Shame.
Especially
however, thankfully, battle for second is boiling up to be epic.
And Ginge not a million miles away in the background there as well, pushing that M6 as hard as he can. Fraser pushing this NSX through the corners. Cam holding on for dear life now. These guys all equal in skill. All had the little moments tonight. NSX just drifting round the corner. Holds a nice line. Puts power fully down. He's applying the pressure to Cam. Tracing his line at the moment though.
Yeah, and we've got that M6 in the background, lights on, saying, don't forget me, I'm there, I'm coming.
Fraser will be looking in his mirrors, but concentrating what's going on in his front as well. but really needs to start pushing a bit more. The M6 is closing the gap. Cam pulling away slightly there as well, put a little bit of a buffer in between him and Fraser.
Tell you what, I'd love it. Hopefully, when it comes down in price to buy the technology, and if I don't have to spend too much upgrading the PC, but I'd love to play this on VR on PC.
It's highly recommended. This game in VR is out of this world. I'd love it to come to the PlayStation.
Some of the reviews, and Mike Tanti as well, who we know from the Exiled Virtual Motorsports group. That's our partner affiliate for the PC racing community. The PC Master Race out there. We know you're out there. I'm one of them, I suspect, but I still love my console racing, and I don't really have sort of a fanboy viewpoint about it. If it works, doesn't matter whether it's on PlayStation 4, Xbox, or PC, or anything like that. I just want to feel good when I drive it.
So we're seeing now a bit of a buffer has come. You know, it is increasing. Obviously, Cam's settled in now. He's pulling that away.
Yes.
What? I mean, is there anything that Fraser could do now if that Ferrari has got the edge on the speed? Is there anything he could do? Because I mean,
honest answer, drive faster. But yeah, I mean, again, we're only at the halfway point. I'm sure that consistency is the hardest thing, isn't it, in sort of longer races? So he's just got to get his head down, as you say, focus on consistent laps, and that will help him take advantage if Cam makes any mistakes, which we've seen he has done when he went into the curb.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see there on the map there is a back market that are approaching. Scooby's well out on his own up in front. So I mean, this is just the battle for third at the moment. Looks like we've got a nice little battle coming up into Sector 2 there as well.
Yeah, just gonna drop in there. Edu there. He's out on his own.
So here we go. We've got
that battle with a Nissan GTR
and two Audis following there as well. So we're watching NGR Tilbs at the moment, again running on a pad, so showing it can be done. Oh, gets a little bit unstable there as he touches some of the curb with that GTR.
And this is one feature that you will find by watching our streams while we do commentate. The moment that we switch to a driver and compliment them, or even just switch them, we jinx them. So
yeah, commentator curse there, unfortunately, but no, Tilb's running well in 7th at the moment.
Yeah, there's a bit of a gap, I say, before with Edu in front by about 18 seconds, but we've got We Don't Belong Here just behind, 2 seconds off. So let's see how that Audi, so as it can rein in the Nissan. We've got Japan versus Germany there.
I put my money on Japan. The GTR is a really nice car to drive as well. It's just too many cars to choose from for which one I want to go in the forthcoming season.
I think the GTR is more like your boy racer variant of a GT3 car.
Put in the right hands, the GTR is an absolute weapon of mass destruction. It's an awesome car to drive. So I think if we go back up to see how the battle for third is commencing at the moment. These guys running well down here, and we can see looks like Fraser's actually moved up to second. So Ginger's got past the Cam, has had a moment. I think we'll stick with these guys for a while then.
Cam's actually gone down to 4th, so as we're saying, any sort of mistake and these guys are going to pounce and take advantage. So we'll go on board with Ginge. We'll get into that M6, the beautiful M6.
So we're live on board now with NGR Ginge as he applies the pressure to Fraser in the NSX. Oh, brakes late. Oh, and he makes a mistake, locks up. And that's unfortunate for him there. Unfortunately, you could see him there. He got a little bit close, had to brake a little bit more, locked up a little bit, unsettled the car, and the back end come out on him.
I think he got the weight transfer from the rear to the front a little bit too sharply there, unsettled the car completely, and when he lifted off, there was just no grip. Well, probably actually too much grip on the front tyres, and that caused the snap oversteer as he gets the curb.
Yeah, you could see him there. Lucky. He turned in too early, corrected it. Unfortunately, just corrected it too sharply.
Is he going to have the same problem?
You can hear the dirt there, kicked up from the grass.
Sometimes being too aggressive can be detrimental to your chances.
He's got to think about having a move here. Goes down the inside. A little bit unsettled the car as he sort of comes off the heavy braking. Holds his line. Fraser right at the side of him here as well. He's got the inside corner for the next line.
One of the glitches, graphical glitches, where you see the driver in the cockpit and the car's either being driven by no one or a driver without a head.
Let's face it, they're all eyes on the cars, though, as they come up to the penultimate corner.
Oh, he's gone on the outside.
Gets in front. Yeah, Fraser went on the inside, but unfortunately was the slower line to take on that. Cam really pushing that Ferrari well as they come onto the straight to start lap 18. Nope. Yeah, lap 18 of 30. We see Ginge is well behind now, so it looks like Ginge might have had some other upsets in there as well. Took a while to get the M6 going.
Yeah, I think if you make that one mistake, it can affect your concentration, and unless you're sort of focusing right away, you're more prone to making a mistake quickly after. And we saw that evident there.
You know, we've seen it tonight. It only takes one moment, and you know you can be back up with them. So hopefully we'll see Ginge back up on the field at the moment there. I think Ginge might have actually been caught by some of the other traffic looking at the map. There's 3 white dots going into. Let's come up to sector 1. So it's EDU's actually onto him as well.
Okay, the camera not the best, but there we go. Yeah, you can see. Little flash of the lights, was that from Edu or Edu?
No, I think
it's
changing
the way I pronounce his name, by the way. And what I'd like, if he watches back this stream, because I know he broadcasts his own races from the Clio Cup, can you please tell us how to pronounce your name for future reference? Because I don't know if it's Edu, or EDU.
So saying obviously,
answers on the postcard,
there's
please.
Ginge as well. Now he's getting a little bit unstable. That was where he spun before. Now, as we were talking and watching the battle between Cam, we'd actually seen Scott McFall in the Cadillac, who's actually managed to work his way back up to 4th as well. So, unfortunately, that first corner incident on the first lap where his back wheels touched the grass and he spun, he's had an amazing race, actually. He's worked all the way back up the field from last up to 4th. So, credit to him in that Cadillac. That's an awesome car to have. It's working well. And Ginge, unfortunately, getting that M6 going, he's lost a few places there. He was, a couple of minutes ago battling for 3rd, and now he's trying to get back into 4th. And we've got Edu in the Lamborghini. That stunning livery there on the Lamborghini. You definitely can't miss that one. He's not a million miles away from them. So Scott, before you can hear the crackle of the exhaust.
Yeah, beautiful that. Just when they lift off the throttle and it gives it a little burst of flames as well.
Always nice to see the flames. So, coming up just to the last section of this race, so 19 of 30, so 11 laps left in this GT3 event hosted by NXTGEN, brought to you by Thrustmaster, Talent Drinks and Corvo Racing Seats.
Let's see here. So Cam has pulled a bit of a gap, 5 seconds. Fraser, sorry, my apologies, ahead of Cam. So a good solid set of laps there from Fraser. Probably very much into the groove and the feel of the car and the track now with that additional grip once the rubber's laid down.
Thought you were going to start singing a song then when you started quoting "Get Into the Groove." Thought you were going to start singing Madonna at us there, James, but as we see Fraser, a little bit lonely for him out of the moment there. So, I mean, Scooby, as you can see, 23 seconds ahead. I don't think there's going to be any catching Scooby in these last just over 10 laps to go now of this GT3 race.
I'm not going to be able to get that Madonna song out of my head now.
Sorry about that. So yeah, I think all Fraser needs to do now is just keep his head down, not make any mistakes. I mean, 5 seconds is not a great deal.
8 seconds ahead of Scott, and as I say, we've got this battle, which we'll focus in on this battle for a couple of laps at least. The battle for 4th. Yeah,
we'll obviously try and keep our eye on the tables there to see if there's any change in positions. But Ginger's going to be pushing this M6 as hard as he can against the might of that Cadillac.
And again, apologies to any of the drivers further down. We're not ignoring you. We just can't take our eyes off the action at the front.
Only using as much as the runoff as he can there. Or NXTGEN, as I should say.
This is the first time I've seen Scott McFall racing, so he's impressed me.
Oh, and he's lost it there!
And commentator jinx again.
NXTGEN does well to avoid any contact whatsoever, and unfortunately goes back on, and Edu says thanks very much, I'll take a piece of that as well, and slots into 5th place. So Gins, he'll be happy with that. I think he's back where he started at the beginning of the race, but I think he'll be thinking what could have been with a few incidents, a little mistakes. Oh, almost lose it. Great save there by Ginge in the M6. Saw the back end coming out, and he was like, no, come on, son, stay with me. Edu watched it, thinking, oh, he's lost it. Oh, he hasn't. Edu will be slightly gutted secretly about that, but that Lamborghini is closing down on the M6. It's the Italian power horse against the German masterclass of engineering. Let's face it, who doesn't like watching GT3 cars blast around tracks? Scott McFall is still not over for him. That Cadillac is pushing well.
He didn't lose too much, and again he's got 9.5 laps to make up.
Yeah, this battle's definitely not over. This looks like it could run to the end.
Yeah, put a foot wrong and you're knackered, but thankfully when he went off he didn't spin too much. He managed to rejoin the track pretty soon and get back into the battle. Fair play to him. He hasn't made another mistake after making that one, so his concentration levels were good.
And EDU is definitely focused. He's definitely closed that gap in that one lap. You know, he's just over half a second behind Ginge now, but that gap has definitely come down as we're on board with him now.
Oh, again, M6 looked like he ran wide the M6 there, just struggled to get the weight distribution balance, so it sort of just threw him off to the left.
So it is the corner that's been tricking a lot of people out tonight. M6 going for the inside line. Nice defensive line there.
A late apex. That's, I mean, I think.
Oh, bit of dirt unsettles the M6. He's off the grass. He's back on, and he's unsettled. He manages to save it though again, and he's got the inside line.
That was a great save. Fair play, but he's wide.
Yeah, unfortunately that mistake, it cost him. He couldn't get back onto the line that he wanted, but he's right behind him now. Oh, if the camera just goes back to them, and that's EDU going wide. A look at this. Scott McFall is now back in this as well. Ginger's going to have the inside line for the corner. Inside line's going to be for the next corner as well. So it's worked out, and EDU's going to have the inside line for this corner. And Ginge slots into place, and McFall is now right up on him here as well in that Cadillac. EDU taking a defensive line now, swings it round into the corner, and Ginge maybe a little bit unnervy about that corner. That's where he's had his spinnings there. So you know, that'll be in the back of his mind. He will also be pushing, but he'll be thinking, oh, I don't want to push it too hard. So he'll be now concentrating on trying and pull away. You know, it's got a lot of power in that Lamborghini, but Ginger's definitely one of them that absorbs the pressure and will now apply it back to EDU. Well, Edu, again, we keep changing the name. I think the colours on that Lamborghini are just getting some ahead, to be honest.
Can we just start calling him Bob?
We can do.
No. There's no debate then.
So here they go, round the final corner onto the home straight.
Obviously, any Blackadder fans will know my reference there.
And we've still got Cam in third. Oh, is he going for a late lunge here? Needs to be careful. Don't want to go on that part of the track. We know how slippy it is. Again, don't want to deviate from your line too much. You want to keep it going on the lines that you know. Oh, he's on the grass a little bit there. He's going for these attacking lines at the moment. You can see Gin's lining his car up like a blue and yellow torpedo. That camera doesn't half stay on that corner for quite some time. He's going to... Oh, no, he thinks about it. Slots back in. Thinks... I'm just going to apply the pressure. I'll just take my time. And unfortunately goes on the gravel. Manages to recover. Oh, did you? Oh, there's contact. Contact there as well. Nothing McFall could do. Unfortunately, just a passenger. That's a real shame. Idiot's struggling to get his car back round as well. He'll be frustrated there as well. Again, can't commend Gingy enough. That's a couple of times now he's avoided cars. But unfortunately, McFall, nothing he could absolutely do. He was blind to what was happening. And AD, you could only watch him ride up the front of his multicoloured Lamborghini.
Well, he hasn't got a cracked windscreen, so at least his vision isn't impaired. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing that people have said regarding the windscreens cracking. It's not something that would happen because in real life they are made of plastic and not glass. So it's maybe something that can be removed from the game because it kind of like takes away from the realistic immersion, I guess. But that's just a personal preference.
Yeah, I think it's one of them, isn't it? Where they've put it in. Oh, is that? Oh, I thought he was there.
I don't know if that's just him setting up the line and getting as wide as he can, but it looked as if the car was about to bin it into the barriers there.
Yeah, he's done that for a few corners now, so it might be right. That just might be the line that he's taking. So Scooby still out in front, 25 seconds in front of Fraser. Fraser's now increased his lead over Cam by 1 second as well to just over 6 seconds. So Fraser running well. That's Ninja there in the black and yellow Lamborghini. Kindly moves out of his way to let the front runners through.
Yeah.
There's no point sort of keeping on your line and battling now. There's no one really in front of him, so you might as well just let it go on.
Be interested to see whether Cam can push over this last 6.5 laps to bring that gap down and develop a bit of a battle. Give something for food for thought for Fraser.
Yeah, I think when you get to this point in the race, when you've got like a 6-second gap and you can see that 6-second gap of the car in front of you, it does add a little bit of pressure. It does make it from what would be a hill in sort of lap 15 to almost a mountain at this stage in the race. So it's one of them. It might be a little bit too late for Cam to do anything now. But Ginge and that who's got McFall just behind him. He really needs to sort of keep pushing. That Lamborghini is stunning.
Have a look here. Battle between two Italian masterpieces as we've got the Lambo just under 2 seconds ahead of Amiga. Obviously, the race has not gone to plan for Amiga. Down at the moment in 11th, but he's definitely closing in on Ninja here, so we may just see a battle of the two Italian supercars.
Yeah, unfortunately,
everyone would love to own a Lambo or a Ferrari.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to one, but yeah, Amiga is, it's not been his race. He struggled in qualifying. Lamborghini looked a little bit unsettled going into the corner there as well. He's not had his race in qualifying. He hasn't really sort of shone in this race either. He will be gutted because he's I think maybe he's got a little bit camera shy. There's Cam
what's
just
happened there.
That. Oh no, because
he put it down in.
I wonder if he's seen. I wonder if the blue flag's popped up. He's gone. I've got to move out the way without not really concentrating. And Gary's gone. Oh, all right, I'll go through as well. So Ginger's managed to pull in a gap on McFall there as well. It's 8 seconds. Oh, here's the battle though. So Edu's managed to Edu. Sorry, we do keep pronouncing his name differently.
Bob.
I do see a little bit of damage there on the bodywork of that Cadillac. And strangely enough, I think, is that Ginge just in front of them there as well?
It is.
So, I think, yeah, it looks like he's maybe had a little bit of an incident as well. And again, it's battle is back on with this. EDU snaking left and right here, really trying to find a way past. Oh,
a little bit of a contact there.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was a little bit close there. He applied a bit too much pressure. Didn't pay off for him. Trying to get that car back round.
Again, there's just he'll have no grip on that tyre, those tyres, and we've got
a very damaged GTR here.
I think it's talking to us. Hello, hello. Nice
I mean, he's got you know, it's 2 seconds. He was only 2 seconds in front of him, but I mean, he's got like almost a 30-second lead on the guy behind him, so he hasn't really got to worry too much about defensive. But I mean, it's not a million miles away from EDU there. Scott McFall can apply.
Well, this again, the battle that was developing. He's pulled out a bit of a gap again, Ginge. So I wondered if Scott again maybe made a slight error.
Maybe that, you know, that knock from Edu could have unsettled his car. I mean, obviously you planning your corner. I mean, that section there, you've got a corner coming up the left turn. Might have unsettled him going in, knocked him off his line a little bit, so lost probably a little bit of time from that. So real unfortunate for Edu though. That was looking like it was you know, clocking up to be a cracking battle, but it wasn't to be, unfortunately. Sometimes you can push too hard and it doesn't pay off.
Cam isn't a million miles off now from Fraser, just over 3.5 seconds.
So yeah, he's brought it down by 3.
He can eat away at that with 4.5 laps remains to be seen. But if anyone can, Cam can.
Say that 10 times fast. But yeah, I mean, is it a fact that, I mean, there's still 5 laps to go? Will Fraser maybe backed off a little bit? I can't see that happening at this stage in the race. I think it's too early to start easing off. I think you still need to think about pushing it. But you know, if a car's 6 seconds behind, it doesn't give you that much breathing space. But he's run that NXX well tonight. Running the Pirelli World Championship livery as well, which is a very nice addition to the game. So he comes up, so
increased just over 4 seconds. So again, a good little sector there. So again, we see a battle develop between these two for 4th. Don't think there's any chance of Ginge getting close to count 27. So it would take a major off or something like that ahead to bring him back into the equation, but he'll be very happy with his race, as will some others. Biggest disappointment was that we didn't quite get to see what happened to Fubby in the battle that was developing at the front.
Yeah, it's a shame. It'd be nice to know. I mean, because for you know, Project Cars, what unfortunately was plagued, especially on PlayStation 4, with server issues where a lot of people got disconnected. I mean, tonight, only one that we know of. I mean, we don't know what's quite happened. Looks like Scooby's got some front end damage there as well. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but yeah, whether it's, you know, there's been an issue at Fubby's house where his internet's gone down, or whether it's a server issue. So it's worth looking into. We'll have to catch up with him after the race. But gutted for him, gutted for Scooby as well, because it's been lonely out there for him tonight. It's literally him just driving around the corners now, and just hoping that he comes against some traffic so he can at least overtake someone. So. But well,
as you say, there's a back marker just ahead, so he'll get his wish. But looks like his car's gurning there, if you ask me.
not taking anything from Scooby. I mean, he's had a really good race from start to finish. It's just a real shame that he's not been rewarded with a good battle for the race for him to settle with. So I don't know if there's any battles going on anywhere below in the table. Fraser, so it's still 3 seconds.
We'll drop down. We've got a gap here between Tibbs
and Edu. So
is that a back marker?
It is a back marker there. That's Jushan. Really does want to just get out the way here, let these guys battle. There's not a lot you can do now with the guy in front.
Place to get away, get out the way there, because it is that tight sort of sector of corners. So I'm sure once he gets onto this straight at the exit of this corner, he'll move.
Yeah, it's one of them. You could find that you move out the way to let them pass, and you end up sliding and going into them. So sometimes it's better just to hold the line, just let the faster guys make their own way past there. So he's moving off the line, lets him. I thought he was going to. Yeah, unfortunately, Tills probably could have tried to get past there. There you go. Yeah, he's letting pass now.
Oh, did he?
Oh, very close there.
He just wasn't aware, positional of where he was.
Yeah, I mean,
at least that was no incident caused by that, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully for Tills. I mean, this battle is definitely going to take us probably to the end of the race now as well. You know, credit to Tills. He's on a pad here. He's going against Edu, who's using a wheel. So we're on board now with Tills as we hear the mighty roar of the NGR. Snakes right. And gets past Edu very easy there as well. Breaks into the first corner. Edu going round the outside. He's got some pace here. And unfortunately, Tills has lost it. He's kept it going, though. This race is definitely not over for him. I think he can get it going. Get some power down.
He's only lost half a second.
He'll still be kicking himself there, thinking, oh, what could have been. This back marker might be helping him there if he can draft him. But really, Tills might be thinking, this might just be getting away. There he goes. Back marker moves out the way to let him pass, does he? Yeah, he's stayed off the line.
Cameraman is having a nap for that corner.
So
anyone from Slightly Mad is watching, they need to sack that cameraman.
Oh, unfortunately, that to break there just to avoid any contact with the back marker. So well done to Tills for that evasive move there as well. But unfortunately for him, I've lost him a little bit of time there as he tries to power this GTR to get back up to Edu again.
Just check, make sure that the guys up ahead are still running in the order.
So still got 2 seconds to try and find to get back up to McFall.
So will we see the NXX or the M6 take the final podium position?
Almost sort of loses it there as well. Back end came out. Again, he managed to catch it just in time. There's Edu in the background there as well. And there's Tills. And we see just in the distance. So these guys aren't a million miles away as well. If one of these has an incident, could lose quite a few more places than just the one. So I think what these guys will be doing now, coming down the home straight, and they'll all be knowing that we've all had incidents on this first corner now. Probably taking it a little bit more cautiously. Trying to stick to that racing line where they can feel more grip. Using the curbs there. Carry as much speed through the corner.
With so many going off, it's probably brought a little bit of the dirt onto the track. And if you put your wheels on that and you had grip in the laps before, you find that you don't have grip this time, and bang, you're in a spin.
Yeah, definitely. That is, one thing that you've got to really take into account to the game. If you notice a part of the track is slippy, try and remember it, and you've got to try and avoid it on the next one. But while you've also got to try and think about maybe defending and attacking at the same time as well. There's a lot that you've got to change in your racecraft for this new Project Cars. He's pushing hard. Both of them keeping it nice and smooth now. None of them, they probably don't want to push it too hard and sacrifice where they are, but they don't want to also sort of relax too much as well and lose anything.
Yeah, I think, having said that, for Ginge, he'd probably want to push and do his utmost to finish third. And he'd probably take that if he did make a mistake. And
again, back end getting out a little bit there on him, but again, he manages to save it.
I'd rather finish third and take the risk of pushing and end up fifth for not trying. That makes sense. Probably doesn't. We almost now. We've got Scooby up ahead, who will be coming on to his final lap, the final lap of the race in a few moments.
So yeah, these guys now on their penultimate lap.
Flash of the lights, bit cheeky.
No, it's what it is. I've actually
inside his head.
Now, what I've worked out is it's not a flash of the lights. It's if you look at it every lap, once the camera moves onto it, for some reason the lights flash on the home straight. Right. So I think it's just a graphical glitch, to be fair.
Ah, cool.
Oh, someone slightly hitting the rev limiter there. You heard it, sort of ticking over. I think it was the Cadillac that was doing it. So that is a sign that pressure is starting to build. Ginge is now applying it again. Ginge can taste this third spot, and he's going to be pushing hard. He's got a lap and a half left to go. He's weaving, he's trying to apply it, trying to move McFall off his line. McFall's going wide here. Ginger's going to push through as hard as he can. He's right on the tail of him now. Backs off a little bit, doesn't want the same mistake as what happened to Edu, happened to him. Oh, unsettling the M6 a little bit. He gets it around the corner nicely in the end though. McFall holding his line well here. Ginge right on his tail. Takes a wide entry into this corner. Gets a nice exit out of it now. McFall looking in his mirror, concentrating on what's going on in front. He knows that he could lose this. Ginge knows that he could get this. This is now a battle of wits and a battle of pressure. Who can survive? We'll find out in just over a lap's time. So Scooby's still out in first.
Where Scooby is.
We're back with this battle now for third place. So Ginge taking that wide line through the corner. I do think that's, that is detrimental to him a little bit there. But, that's also... Oh, late break in there as well. Avoids any contact. As they enter the final lap.
Great performance from Scooby.
And Ginge is maybe thinking about going for a move up the left here. We know that part of the track is slippy, though. He needs to be careful. Side by side round the corner.
Hugging it as close as he can. Gonna have contact.
And side by side. Keeping it as close as he can. And he's managed to find his way through. And he's got in front of him as well. He's going to hold that inside line. No, he's moving back over. Then McFall moves across. Ginge is not giving up this fight without a challenge. Oh, and there's McFall. Unfortunately, as we said, who will succumb to it. Well done to Scooby. He's taken the victory. Cam has definitely secured second place here. And from that instant with McFall, I would definitely say that Ginge has got third. He'll be very, very pleased with that. But I think he'll also be thinking what could have happened. Yeah, Edu has managed to get back in fourth as well. McFall will be absolutely kicking himself on the last lap. Tilms, he'll be very pleased with his performance in that GTR tonight. He can hold his head up high after this race. But this is not over for Edu at the moment. They can see the timer counting down. 102 seconds left to go. Edu just know he has to hold on. Scott knows he has to push. McFall might have a little bit of the red mist in front of him as well. Kicking himself for what he did to let Ginge past.
It looks like red, yellow and green mist, if I'm being honest. But he's having a look. But that's what I was saying. If you push and you he who dares, and definitely Ginge wins on that one, getting third. I put him down as my driver of the day because I think he started a few places back.
Who, NGR Ginge?
Yeah. I don't think he. I think
he qualified. I think he qualified 5th or 6th. But yeah, he's had a good race. I'd have to say driver of the race. I mean, if you watch it on YouTube, leave in the comments who you'd put as your driver of the race. I'd have to say Scooby's not. We haven't really seen him put a foot wrong, and he crossed the line. So Scott McFall finishes 4th, 5th. Sorry, Tills finishes 6th. Edu finishes 4th.
Taylor, again, apologies. We haven't caught much of your racing tonight in the Audi, but again, that's a top 10 finish, which would score your points in a normal GT3 League season race.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a new game. People are still getting used to it as well. So, you know, people won't have shown their full potential tonight as well. But awesome race that. You know, credit to all the drivers. You know, few little sort of few instances to talk about from the first corner there. McFall unfortunately losing his back wheel, but hope you all enjoyed it. We have been NGR, and again, this has been brought to you in association with Thrustmaster, Corbo Racing Seats, and Talent Drinks. Keep your eye, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe on the YouTube channel. Come and join us on Facebook. Just search for Next Gen Racing League's community, and find us on Twitter as well at Next Gen Racing League. Do get involved. We've got time trials going. At the moment, our time trial against the pro is Mike Bushell, who is the official Clio Cup UK championship for this season. So we've got a time trial against him in a Clio Cup around Brands Hatch. So get involved with that. But yeah, fantastic race. You know, as James has said, apologies some of the drivers. We didn't really get a lot of the action of you on here, but you know, there's a lot of action going on in front. We do try and catch as much as we can, but you know, sometimes we'll miss the action that goes on else as well. But thank you very much for tuning in, and I will catch you all very, very soon.
Yeah, take it easy, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
And thank you, James. Catch you in a little bit, guys.